I can honestly say nobody was as surprised to see this buck on this given day as I was. Impromptu hunt, last minute, climbing the stand, not expecting to see any kind of a deer of this caliber. Maybe shooting a doe. There he is. So after a 20-minute stare down, back and forth, cat and mouse, I wasn't sure if this buck was going to make it to the tree before dark. Coyotes start howling, and for some reason, here he comes. Finally got a good look at this deer. I've never had him within 100 yards of my stand at any given time in these 3 years, but I've been chasing him pretty hard. This has been my dream buck for 3 years. At the end of the day, I'm still a hunter. So I was self-filming. He walks out of frame. I'm not gonna let the biggest deer of my life walk off just because I don't have him on camera. What would you do? First sit in Kansas, really kind of out, gonna try to shoot a doe, and really it was a last minute set. I mean, me and BJ were up here hanging stands and kind of trying to get ready for our Kansas hunt later on, and we had a couple days. We've been getting some good pictures back here behind the barn, behind the shop. If any of you watched the film November, it's where I was chasing the 180 buck a few years ago. And we've had a deer on this property we call 200. I'm not sure if this is him or not, but it sure looked like him. He's really old, probably at least 6, and I don't know. I was after him all year last year and was always a day late and $1 short. And tonight, last minute sit, literally got in the stand at 6 o'clock and a little after 6. Just gonna try to maybe get a doe knocked out, but only deer I saw. He came in, he kept me on pins and needles for 20 minutes, had me pegged in the tree, and anyway, didn't get the shot on camera because I literally had to, instead of coming around where they would normally come, the coyote started howling, kind of, for some reason or another, it pushed him back behind my tree. He came extremely downwind. I mean, he was exactly downwind to me, so 2 things. Upwind products with copper infused, it's I'm a believer. He was extremely downwind, fully mature buck. I'm talking about the wind was blowing as dead to him as it could blow, and I shot him at 20 yards. The hex, he actually looked at me in the tree at 20 yards while I was trying to put my bow through a fork in the tree and get it out far enough where I could draw back and get anchored. And he looked right at me, dropped his head, and just kept walking. And I thought I heard him crash. We're gonna go see if we can look for him. We gave him about an hour now, so but the coyotes were howling really bad back there. So last year my deer, I left him overnight and he just got devoured by coyotes, and I'm just not sure I want to do that again, especially with this buck. First thing I always want to do is find my arrow as soon as I shoot an animal. Climbed down out of the stand, went in for the hour, waited, came back, found my arrow immediately. There was blood everywhere. I was already starting to feel some excitement, but I still had that little bit of, you know, what's gonna happen next. There was a pond right there close, and I was just thinking, he's headed to that pond. Man, I hope this 300-pound deer is not floating in this snaky pond in 85-degree weather. There was a 20-minute cat and mouse game of this deer looking at me in the tree. He knew I was there. He kept looking at me. Every time I'd try to move the camera, get my binos up, grab my bow, anything, he looked at me. It was 21 minutes of cat and mouse, and he knew I was there, but he still walked in. I got to say, I totally attribute that to my first ever deer hunt with Hex. Hex stealth screen obviously made a difference in this hunt. Also, this buck walked directly into my wind, stayed in my wind for 20 yards, and I shot him at 17 yards behind the tree. Upwind, this is my first season with upwind. I honestly gotta say, the two main reasons that I got this buck hanging on the wall today is because of upwind scent elimination products and Hex stealth screen. I love bow hunting, just love it, and it's the culmination of a lot of time and hard work and years, and wow, what a deer, what a deer.